This is the Oz report for May 25th, 2024. And let's start with Plex and Plex adjacent items. And for that, I'm immediately going to jump into the game client because I need to start off with the New Eden store. The big thing that we talk about this year or this week is the multiple pilot training sale. There's a 40% sale going on in the New Eden store, and that is where you can buy it with Plex. And so what this means overall, we covered this at length in the stream, so I'll just make a very quick summary. This will make a lot of active skill farms invest in Plex to buy MCT. So in the end, you would expect Plex prices to go up because this is a very, very, very attractive New Eden store deal, comparable to the skill extractor deal. And what we are seeing this week in Plex prices is exactly that. Now, to be fair, the week over week price in Plex hasn't changed all that much, but that's just because we had a peak last week as well for different reasons. So now we are back at market prices of 5.24 million sell price in the Forge. That is massive, all right? So very, very expensive Plex. On the other hand, large skill injectors came down a little bit while still being very high. And a reason for that just being skill farmers need to buy Plex to buy MCTs, multiple character training certificates. And for that, they need to liquidate their stockpiles, meaning large skill injectors. So that will push prices down a little bit on that end. They do need skill extractors to run their farms. So that will go up a little bit in price. However, there have been very, very large stockpiles out there from previous sales, as we can see in the game graph here. So right now is not a super expensive time for skill extractors. So there are still some stockpiles out there, and most large skill farms will have them on hand. Now, what's surprising is the Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerators. Now, these are adjusting downwards a little bit, but not nearly quickly enough. Remember, there is a substitute good in the New Eden store that is better and cheaper and more convenient. So still, Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerators that are generated through recruiting friends in EVE Online are at 80 million, and they really should be probably closer to 70 million if you want to reach parity with the New Eden store cerebral accelerators. But I suspect they will slowly go down and down until they hit about 70 million. Let's jump over to Hypercores real quick. Hypercores are briefly mentioned them last week as well. They did have a 50% off sale in March, and so they are still recovering from that. They're quickly making, quickly jumping back to much higher prices now. Though we're looking at a 372,000 price right now. Not too long ago they were way below 300,000. So here. This will definitely be climbing back up in the near future, and there is one correction I have to make from last week. I don't know if we discussed this on the Oz report last week or afterwards, but let me just mention for everyone else. Yes, the volume on the market is much higher, but that doesn't necessarily only mean that there's speculation going on. This could also very well be that people that used to buy Hypercores with Plex in the New Eden store are now buying Hypercores on the market directly because they are simply cheaper. And that's probably the big reason why the volume has been so high. This doesn't mean that there's only speculation going on. This could very well be organic demand that transferred over from the New Eden store. All right. Now, let's jump back into my dashboard. Overall, raw moon materials up 3%. That doesn't make a lot of sense. However, we've seen raw moon materials drop a lot over the last few weeks, ever since the Equinox expansion was announced, and with it, the new form of passive moon mining. The name of the module escapes me, but you guys probably all know what I'm talking about. Is it called the Metanox? Something, yeah. What's with these weird names, man? Raw materials up 3%, but that's just because they have been dropping a lot in the last few weeks. It's probably just Metanox, somebody says in chat. Very good, thank you. Probably just because they have been dropping a lot, and also a lot of people are getting ready for production of the new ships. The new ships were announced last week, and so possibly people are getting ready to produce these ships that are going to be in quite high demand, and also producing the structures, the new structures that are going to be needed to take advantage of the new nullsec mechanics. So overall, probably a mixture of course correction and increased demand for pre-production for the expansion. Now, most of the raw moon materials that have increased in price are R16 moon materials, so chromium, vanadium, and cadmium, for example, but also cesium as an R32 moon material has increased quite significantly, and evaporate deposits as an R4. So, really across the board, moon materials rising. One thing that we do see here as well is that the advanced moon materials, so reaction materials, they actually still are going down 5%, and that makes a lot of sense, because raw moon materials are the leading indicator, and advanced moon materials are lagging, because they are essentially taking raw moon materials and reacting them with fuel blocks into advanced moon materials. And so you will see a kind of whatever happened last week happen this week in advanced moon materials. And so that is what we're seeing here, and that makes a lot of sense. Now, let's go back here. 0-point field manipulators, up 17%. All right. They have been going down a lot over the last few weeks. If we look at the in-game graph, they've just been nosediving. All right. Over farming and nerfing of trick ships both did these in. Now, in addition to that, we also have 0-point condensate as an abyssal material also dropping quickly in price, and crystalline isogen 10 also not doing that well. So overall, we should see Triglavian ships just going down overall. We see Leshaks dropping, we see Nurgles dropping and staying about the same. Ikitursas actually rose a bit this week. I don't know if that is on new demand or not, but overall, Triglavian ships rather cheap right now, and Triglavian materials not in a lot of demand. I do think that this makes them a good investment right now. Who knows what the new content will mean exactly to Triglavian content, but I think one thing is clear. I don't think this is going to necessarily lead to an increase of Triglavian content farming. And so I do think that right now could be a very good time to invest into these Triglavian materials, in these abyssal materials. Now, let's look at some other things that are in very low supply right now, because we're seeing some very interesting thing going on. So first of all, the ore industrial command ships, right? Short supply here. The Orca, basically gone. Okay, basically gone from Jeddah. There are currently, about 10, 11 on the market. 25 are traded every single day. So there's not even one trade day of Orcas left in the market. And the Porpoise as well. The Porpoise as another ore industrial command ship. There are, I don't know, 30 maybe left, 50 traded every single day. So Orca and Porpoise are not in high demand. I'm not sure if this is people buying the ships for the new content, if this is people producing less, so the volume doesn't look higher, so it could very well be that people are producing less orcas and porpoises in anticipation of the new ships, since we have the new Upwell freighters coming out, or the Upwell transportation ships coming out. Possibly people are holding back on building these and building the new ships, or wanting to build the new ships instead. We'll see where this goes in the next few weeks, but definitely these are sold out. Possibly also could be nullsec people preparing for the new expansion, since it does have a lot of new and changed mining content out there. So both probably driving a little bit the lack of availability of porpoises and orcas. Interesting also, the bustard, not a lot of ships out there either. There are about 30 on the market, 50 traded a day. So even the bustard, the Caldari DST, in very, very short supply. So I think people don't want to commit to building a lot of these before the new ships come out. So we'll see a little bit of market standstill in the next 2 weeks until the expansion drops, and then people will be producing the new stuff. Yeah, the Vargar. Somebody in chat says the Vargar. The Vargar is definitely in short supply. Only about 20 out there, with a daily traded volume of about 60. So yeah. The Vargar also definitely in short supply, and Plex as well. By the way, Plex has been completely dried up because of the 40% off MCT sale. That has had a huge impact on it. All right, that's it. That's the Oz report for May 25th, 2024, and we'll return to the regular stream. I'll see you guys next week.